Hi everyone, it's me, Matt, and again you're watching Matt's Bookshelf Escape, the little place on the internet where I get to talk about all the books that I'm currently reading and all the books that I'm wanting to read. Today's video is a weekly wrap up about everything that I have been reading and I've started to read and what I'm planning on reading next week. So I actually got through quite a few books this week, shorter books, and also I am on my school holidays. I work in a school, so every summer holiday I get 6 weeks off, and obviously that means more time to read, and I have been taking advantage of that. So the first book I read this week was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I absolutely loved this book. I found it hilarious, and usually I don't find books that funny, even when they are comedies and they're supposed to be humorous. Um, I, I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, that is funny, but you won't get a reaction out of me. Not like I would if I was watching a movie. But I did find myself having a little chuckle to this. My wife had to keep asking me what I found so funny. And then when explaining to her what I found was funny, she just looked at me like, you weirdo. So this book, he follows a man called Arthur Dent. He wakes up one morning to find out that his house is going to get demolished. He has a friend called Ford Prefect who tells him that, come with me, don't even worry about the house. And luckily for Arthur Dent, he does go with him because the earth gets destroyed. And it is about him going off into the galaxy and learning that there is more to life than Earth. And I found this so good. There's a character in here called Marvin. He's a depressed robot, and he is absolutely fantastic. Far my favorite character in the book so far. I won't talk about it too much because obviously I don't want to ruin it for anybody that does want to read it, but I do recommend this book. So my second book of the week that I read was another Douglas Adams book. It was the second installment to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books. This one is called The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. I liked this book. I really did. I thought it was funny like the first one, but it took me a little bit more to get into than the first one did. And don't know whether it's because that's the first one you read that ends up being your favourite, but nonetheless, this is a fantastic book. Again, funny. Marvin is by far my favourite character still. I don't think anybody is beating Marvin. And I can't wait to get to the next installment of the book. So the next book on my list that I've read, I'm currently reading it. I'm pretty much towards the end now. I reckon I will finish this after this video has been recorded. And that is Stephen King's Misery. I know that I said in my first ever video that I'm trying to broaden my horizons and not read as much Stephen King, but I got this in a charity shop and thought, why not? I'd watched the movie, I thought the movie was really good, but it does not compare to this. This is insane. We follow a character called Paul Sheldon, who is an author, and he writes these books, and the main character in it is a lady called Misery Chastain. When he wakes up, he finds out he's been in a really bad accident. He's had a car crash, and his legs are broken to pieces, just crumbled. And he's saved by a lady called Annie Wilkes, and just so happens to be his biggest fan. And also, she is a psychopath. Probably the scariest villain in any of his books I've read so far. That's scarier than Pennywise. Um, and he's scarier than she's scarier than the Man in Black. And this just follows him trying to survive in this one room, and you really do feel the claustrophobia in it. And she forces him to carry on writing her favourite novels, which has Misery Chastain in them. And it keeps you on your toes the whole time. The suspense. I felt my toes curling, like, just that horrible feeling in your stomach. I was like, oh no. And there are some insane scenes in this book. I really, really, really recommend reading this. I'm probably going to do a full-on review on this book because of how good it was. Amazing, amazing. So now we've gone through everything that I have already read this week and have almost finished reading. Let's go on to what I plan on reading next week. I read 3 books. I will have read 3 books by the end of this video. But I'm hoping to read another 3 books. I really surprised myself with reading 3 books in a week. So I'm hoping that I can continue this on and read another 3. I am a teaching assistant at a school, so I get the 6-week holidays off, which we are currently in, the summer holidays. So that's the leeway I'm giving myself, is that I've been able to read 3 because I've not been working. I've been on holiday. So the first book in my list for next week to read is another book from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, and that is I can't even remember what it's called, Life, the Universe and Everything by Douglas Adams. If this is anything like the first 2, I reckon I'm going to have a fantastic time. Really can't wait to get my hands onto this one. I'll have a little read on the back for you. In consequence of a number of stunning catastrophes, Arthur Dent is surprised to find himself living in a hideously miserable cave in prehistoric Earth. However, just as he thinks that things cannot possibly get any worse, they suddenly do. He discovers that the galaxy is not only mind-bogglingly big and bewildering, but also that most of the things that happen in it are staggeringly unfair. Now that sounds like a good time to me. I've got to say the covers on these books are really, really fun. To look at. But yes, that'll be the first book that I start. The second book will be the next book in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, which is So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. Again, I'm really hoping that the storyline to all this ends really well, because this may be one of my favourite series I've read, and there isn't the Dark Tower. So, but yeah, absolutely fantastic set of books so far. So I'm hoping this doesn't change, and I hope that it's just as good. And then lastly, the last book that I want to read through the week, hopefully, is This Body Is Not Big Enough for the Both of Us by Edgar Santero. I think that's how it's pronounced. Really, don't get at me in the comments, but yes, it's either Edgar Santero or Edgar Cantero, and I believe it's Santero. This seems like a fantastic book. I've had this book for about a year now, not read. I found it in a charity shop. From what I know, the concept of it is that it is a private investigator, and it's 2 twins who share one body, and not mean like conjoined twins where you know there's a head hanging out of the side, or they've got 4 legs and 3 arms. It's one body, and they share it, and they are private investigators. It's supposed to be really, really funny. So hopefully it is, because I feel like I've got really into comedy stuff lately. I went from really liking thrillery horror stuff to now all of a sudden I just want to chuckle. So hopefully I get all these 3 read next week, and I'll obviously in next week's weekly wrap up I'll let you know how far on I got. So which book did I enjoy the most this week, and which book did I enjoy the least this week? So it's really hard because I enjoyed all of them. I don't think any of the books that I've read this week have been bad whatsoever, but enjoyment levels is a different thing. So I think the book that I've mostly enjoyed reading has to be Stephen King's Misery. I found this the entire way through just gripping. I know how it ends, but that's only because I've seen the movie. I'm wondering if it's a little bit different. but we'll see. We'll see. The book that I least enjoyed this week, which I didn't. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it so much. But one has to be on top, one has to be on bottom, and I guess that is The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. I still found this book immensely funny, really entertaining. I think the reason why I didn't enjoy it as much is because there were parts in it that had just got me so confused. I didn't know where I was. One minute we were here, and the next minute we were somewhere else, and I didn't actually realise until like a few pages in. So I think maybe it's just my stupid brain, and that's where the enjoyment came away. It was having to reread. I had to reread a whole chapter because I wasn't sure where I'd got mixed up. So I ended up going back and reading a whole chapter again. But other than that, like I say, not a bad book at all. Fantastic, and I can't wait to carry on with the rest of the book. A little bit to add on, I guess. I've been watching a TV series. Just thought it made sense to talk about this because it's a book that I've read. It's also in the realm of Stephen King because it's based on one of his novels, and that is The Institute. I'm loving it. It's fantastic. I think there's some. I'm going to have to read The Institute again because I'm watching some stuff and I'm like that didn't happen. That's not right, is it? But I thought this is what happened to this character, and so I think that's giving me the oomph to go read it again. So I think once the whole of the show has finished and all the episodes are out, that's when I'm going to read it again, just so that I can, look and see what differences there are. But other than that, that is me for today, guys. I've had a really good time reading this week, and I can't wait to read again next week and tell you all about it and everything that I got up to. And yeah, so till next time, guys. See you later.